welcome to another episode of Nussbaum Autohaus. I am, of course, your host, David Nussbaum. If I sound a little bit froggy, you guys are right. I'm a little bit under the weather, but that was not going to stop me from making this video for you guys, because today I just got a car sent to me from California. It's a Lamborghini Urus S. It's actually the second car that this specific customer has sent to me all the way from California. And the first one is actually the silver 992 Turbo S that I called the RS, and I'll link you to that video up here. But it's going to be the second time around. This one is actually going to be a bigger project because we're doing a wide body kit on it as opposed to just the normal body kit pieces that we did on this customer's Turbo S. So right behind me is this Urus. Let me give you a little sneak peek at that. It's got Vossen wheels already. I had no part of these specific Vossen wheels, but we're going to do another set of Vossens, and they're going to be a different color, different design, same sizing. But in addition to that, it's going to fit the wide body kit a lot better. We're going to be doing Novitec for the wide body kit. We're also going to be doing an exhaust system. So this thing is going to sound amazing. It's going to look amazing. We're doing suspension, all that other good stuff. So lock it into this video. Stay tuned, and you're going to see the progress from beginning to end. So the body work for the Urus S has been done. I wanted to show you guys some, behind the scenes of the car before it gets its full makeover, the glitz and glamour. But one reason I did want to show it to you in this state is because I wanted you guys to see what the body kit looks like from a width perspective when the factory wheels are still on it. So as you can see, crazy sunken in, front and rear. And that's because the Novitec Esteso wide body kit adds significant width to the car. So let me get down to this lower angle here. As you can see, when you're adding width to the body of the car, you definitely need to add wider wheels, which we of course have done that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But another thing that I wanted you guys to see is, because this car has stealth PPF across the entire body, that means that when we put the bodywork from Novitec on the car, it's going to be painted in the same white as the car, but then we have to do the stealth PPF over it. So if you'll see here, you've got the shiny gloss and then the stealth of the car. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. You're adding a second step to everything that you have to do. You basically have to paint the body kit to the color of the car, and then you do the PPF stealth wrap on top of it. We also did a couple of other things here, like the Novitec wing, which again is gloss white right now. It's got to be wrapped, as well as this tail, which was formerly black. So these are the Vossens that are on it now, came with the car. And over here, we have a sneak peek at the Vossen, the new Vossens that'll be going on it. I don't want to give it away just yet, but you can tell they're white, you can tell they're Vossens. And you can kind of take a peek at the concavity of it as well as the design. But let me put that back on here and talk a little bit more about the Novitec exhaust. So Novitec has so many different options, so many different configurations. It's like adult Legos. You can have really wild sound all the way down to mild and anywhere in between. So this client wanted to do something in the in-between. And so right off the bat, we would do the valved muffler, power optimized. You can see here it's got Novitec on it, which is absolutely beautiful. Then you have what Novitec calls their X-pipe, and then you have their glorious exhaust tips that are stainless steel black. It's got the Novitec on the side as well. So really beautiful system. They also have a Y pipe. They also have this muffler if you wanted it without valves so that it's loud all the time. They have it in stainless steel, which is what this is. And then you also have the Inconel, which is going to be the material that Formula One cars use for their exhaust systems. And they even have a notch above that, which is Inconel with 999 fine gold plating for heat reduction. But again, on this one, we're just doing the X-pipe valved muffler with the exhaust tips that are going to replace these circular ones. So that's going to look really sharp. I can't wait for it. So I have such a big smile on my face because any day that I'm able to complete a project like this and showcase it to you all is a very happy day for me. So like I said, without further ado, this is the Novitec build Urus S, and a little bit of an overview about the Urus S before I get into the modifications that I did on this car. A couple years back, Lamborghini came out with the base Urus, which had about 641 horsepower, and then subsequently they came out with the S and the Performante as well. So the S and the Performante have about 657 horsepower. Where they differ is in the suspension setup. So the Performante is more geared towards a handling SUV because it has a traditional strut and spring system like you would find on most sports cars. This one has the air suspension. The Performante is always also about 115 pounds lighter than the S. And now recently they came out with the SC, which is a hybrid version of the Urus. It is the detuned same V8 twin turbo that's underneath the hood here, but with hybrid battery power assistance, which pushes that to 799 horsepower, which is absolutely nuts. Are they gonna come out with one even further than that? Maybe a Urus SVJ, if you will? Who knows, but we'll wait and see. On this Urus S, again, 657 horsepower. The brake calipers are absolutely massive, and the rotors are massive, 440 millimeters, and I think 370 in the rear. So that's all the stopping power that you need for this curb weight, which is north of 4,000 pounds. 0 to 63.3. Very, very quick for a car like this. But what I like about this car is that due to the air suspension, you can have it super comfortable if you have it in the Corsa mode or the Strada mode, I should say. And then you can do it in the more aggressive sport modes, like I mentioned, like the Corsa. And then it completely changes the feel of the car. So on the drive over here, it actually felt like a luxury SUV. And then you put it into the racing mode and it feels like a Lamborghini SUV, like you would expect it to be. So want to touch base on the Novitec body kit first, and my shirt should have given it away of what we were talking about today. Really cool photo on the backside here of Novitec from back in the days with an older Lamborghini. This Novitec kit is the Esteso Widebody kit. Now, when the Urus base first came out, Novitec came out with a base kit, a little bit of a different wide body kit, but when Lamborghini released the S and the Performante, Novitec went back to the drawing board. They learned a couple of things that they did on the previous version, and they made some changes on the way that it looks, and this is what they came out with. So this is 12 pieces in total, and I'll count them with you. So right off the bat, on the front side, you have this piece from this body line all the way down, and it kind of hugs the front bumper. Then you have this biggest piece here, which is essentially the fender, and it goes all the way down to the connecting point of the side panels. The side panels, you're made of side panel number 1, made up of side panel number 2, with the integrated little vent here, which you paint in the gloss black. And then you have this piece here, and this piece that hugs around and touches the rear bumper. So you have 6 on this side, 6 on the other side, which makes 12 in total. Now, when these pieces arrive from Novitec in Germany, they are prepped for paint. And so they go into the paint booth, you paint it the same color as the car, and then you put it onto the car, and you make sure that everything fits properly. But this car was a little bit different because this customer that is located in California, he got the car stealth wrapped in California before he sent it over to me. So what that means is instead of just doing the easy paint, put it on the car, you're good to go, we had to paint it, we had to mock it up on the car, and just by our eye, we had to see if the white would match. Very, very difficult to see if the white would match when you have a gloss white body panel and then the satin Expel Stealth white on the car. But because I work with some of the best in the business when it comes to paint, when it comes to PPF, we did it perfectly. So we painted the pieces as I mentioned, then we applied the Stealth PPF wrap on it, and this is the result that you get. So I'm extremely happy with the way that it came out. It's never gonna match 100% because you're painting the body of the car in Italy and body panels here after the fact in Miami, Florida. But it is so close to 100% match, and I'm very happy with it. The Miami sun doesn't lie. The moment that these pieces went on the car, I brought the car out of the warehouse, I took a look under the Miami sun, and I was extremely happy with the result, and I know my customer will be too. So before we get into the wheels, I want to change camera position because I just want to show you the amount of concavity that these wheels get because we have the wide body kit on the car. So what we have here is the Vossen Gen 01. Gen is going to be their new series, or one of their newest series, that has some very classic designs. And this is a 5-spoke, obviously, and it opens up a lot of windows for you to see the massive, gigantic brake calipers and rotors, which I mentioned already were 440 millimeters, which My guess would be that it has to be a record when it came out or very close to it, because I can't imagine anything larger. But I love the way that this really opens up the whole wheel design. From a finish perspective, we didn't want everything to be all satin, so we did a gloss white on the wheel. It's a one-piece wheel. It is a Gen 01 monoblock. Vossen also offers this in a 3-piece version, which would have a lip, obviously. But on a 23-inch wheel, which we did here, we wanted it to be a little bit large or look a little bit large. So when I actually sent these photos or some teaser images to my client, he's like, wow, the wheels look big. Did we do 24s? He said, no, we did 23s. The reason that we avoided the 24s is because on the Urus, when you put 24s on the car, a transmission light pops up and it's very, very, very annoying. And if you ever have any problems where you have to take the car to the dealer, they're gonna cite that and start saying, hey, we're gonna have warranty issues because you have a transmission light because of the aftermarket 24-inch wheels. So why not go 23-inch with a multi-piece? Well, since most traditional modern multi-piece wheels, like a 3-piece wheel, these days come with a step lip, it makes the center face a little bit smaller than the overall diameter of the wheel. So if we did a 23-inch multi-piece wheel, 3-piece wheel that has a step lip, it would actually almost look like a 22-inch. And in that case, it would look way, way too small. This way, when we do the monoblock, it looks very true to size, and I love it for that reason. Then we also have massive concavity on this car because, like I mentioned, when you add the Novitec wide body fender flares, you're adding about close to or over an inch in width to every single corner of the car, which allows you to push the wheel outward, which allows the center of the face go concave inward and still clear the massive calipers that the Urus has. Another thing that's really cool about the Gen series wheels that Vossen offers is the center caps. So this is actually a 4-piece center cap, and I'll try and go accurately step by step for all the parts. So first off, they have this outer ring here, or what they call a plate, and there's 2 different versions of the plate. They have a smooth plate, which wouldn't have any single design here, and this sport or aggressive plate, which has little cuts, as you can see. And you can do it in any color that you want. So obviously here, we did a gloss white. Then you have the outer ring, which we did in the orange. Again, can be done in any color that you want. Then you have the center locking nut, which is right here. We did it in the gloss black. Once again, I sound like a broken record. You can do it in any color that you want. And then finally, you have the insert, which is right here, and we did it in the gloss orange again. Now, something that you must note, this insert doesn't have a solid V, so you can't do a hand-painted different color if you wanted. This is actually floating, as you can see me sticking my finger in here, over the locking nut. So this wheel is a 5-lug wheel. It is not a center lock like some of the Performantes come. This is a 5-lug, so when you screw this off and you reveal the lug nuts, you see that it is a 5-lug bolt pattern. So extremely cool. This allows you to do so many different color combinations. The possibilities are almost endless. Here, we did a little bit of fine tweaking. We originally wanted to do this locking nut in white, but we felt that it might have been a little bit too much white. We wanted to add some color to it, and essentially, since this car has some of the gloss black accents all over, we're able to do that in the gloss black so that it matches that, so it wasn't all just one singular color. I want you to take a look at the massive concavity that this wheel has. The front has it just the same. So when I was ordering the set with Vossen, I told them, hey, listen, I want you to build it 23 by 10.5 in the front, 23 by 12.5 in the rear. That way we can use the factory 23-inch tires, which are Pirellis. And I want you to build it with the lowest offset possible, which means that they're going to push it out as much as they can with the monoblock forging. That way it's as concave as possible. And Vossen did just that. So on the rears, you actually have no spacer at all. The front, you do have a spacer because the monoblock aluminum forging cannot achieve a greater concavity than what it currently has without compromising the durability and quality of the wheel. So that front has a spacer to make it completely flush with the front fender, and this one does not, and as you can see, completely flush with the rear fender. So concavity, absolutely love it. I sent those photos to the client, and again, he said, wow, it looks absolutely incredible. I'm really stunned the most by the front wheel. And I know you can't see it on this angle, but I'm looking at it right behind the camera, and it's incredible. Now, the reason why it's a lot more difficult to do a concave wheel in the front of a car is because what I mentioned a little bit earlier, which is how massive the calipers are typically on sports cars or sport SUVs, and they're much, much larger than on the rear. So what that means is that when you have a larger caliper, it creates a lot of space there. And so if you try and do the wheel face to be concave, it's a higher chance that it'll clip that caliper, and then you have all sorts of problems. So you don't really have to worry about that on the rears, because typically the caliper is a lot smaller. Even this one has a really, really small caliper. And that's why you don't see a concave front. But on this car, I'm gonna grab the camera in a little bit and I'll show you. It looks absolutely awesome, and I'm very happy with the flush fitment. So big shout out to the guys at Vossen. And it's okay that, again, I'm wearing this Novitec shirt, because when Novitec has wheel offerings for Urus or Ferraris or anything like that, they actually turn to Vossen for the collaboration. And Vossen manufactures the wheels here in Miami, Florida for Novitec. So all in all, I would say that this is still a Novitec build. You have the Novitec Widebody kit, you have the Vossen wheels, and Vossen builds wheels for Novitec, and then you have the Novitec exhaust, which right now I'll do a before and after. And then I'll also go in this tunnel here. That way you guys can hear the exhaust, because it's always fun to do an exhaust system in a little bit of a tunnel surround with all the echoes. Before I wrap up this video, I also wanted to touch on some of the trim stuff that we did, because a lot of people do ask me about trim blackouts or color changes and things of that nature. So here we are with this one. This is the factory Lamborghini tailgate spoiler. This was originally in gloss black. So we pulled it off, we sprayed it in the gloss white, and then we did the Expel satin PPF right on top. Then this is the Novitec rear spoiler wing. This came from Germany in carbon fiber. We painted over it after much deliberation, because the car doesn't have a lot of carbon fiber on the outside, actually none. It's all on the inside. So we painted over it. Still makes it extremely lightweight, but it kind of complements the rest of the car. Gloss white, and then again the Excel Spelth PPF on top to make it satin white. So going on to the front as well, there was some stuff that we did. So this front bumper had a lot more white in it. Essentially, this entire middle crossbar that is currently gloss black was white. It didn't look as aggressive as some of the Performantes or some of the Urus S that have the additional piece that Lamborghini offers, which is a trim piece that goes on the bottom of the front bumper. So what we did is we went ahead and we painted that in gloss black. That way it has that kind of like fang look, very, very aggressive from that front side, aggressive all the way around. Front side, side profile with the fitment, down the line with the fitment, I should say, side profile. I mean, this thing is an absolute weapon. Backside, we may consider adding the Novitec rear diffuser, but other than that, I am so happy with this car. I also want to briefly touch on the exhaust system in case I haven't said it already. This is a stainless steel Novitec exhaust system with valves, valved muffler, mid pipe, and there's also a Y pipe and some cat replacement pipes, but then you start having to get into tuning, which in some states like California is a big no-no, so we avoided that, and we did the metal exhaust tips. I want to get the thank yous out. Thank you to Novitec for building such an awesome wide body kit and the exhaust system. Thank you to Vossen for getting everything done very, very quickly, offering such a cool wheel and listening to me on the concavity demands that I had for this car. Thank you to my team, the paint, the install guy, and also the PPF guy, because right now I'm working with some of the best in the business down here in South Florida, and I absolutely love it. So thank you guys so much. And thank you to the client for sending me his car all the way from California. I know you could have done this all the way out there, but you trust in me. And I love that we go over every single detail on our builds. That way it comes out extremely awesome. And then we've got something for them, don't we? We've got a little Ferrari in the future. So you guys will see that shortly. But look at the previous car I did for this client. I'll put it somewhere around here. It's a silver or a gray Stealth 992 Turbo S that we did a Tech Art kit too. And let me know what you think about this one. Make sure you visit our website, www.nussbaumautohaus.com. We will have photos of this SUV as soon as the video drops on YouTube. Check me out on Instagram. There's two different ones. I've got David.Nussbaum Autohaus, which is mine. Then we also have the Nussbaum Autohaus individual, which is brand new. So hit the follow button on that. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon. Comment, because that definitely helps me introduce new ideas to future customers that have the same car or have a different car, but are looking at sort of the same ideas. So that definitely helps. I love critiquing and positive reinforcement and all that other good stuff. I do not mind at all if you say, hey, I don't like this or I do like that, because again, I take all of that in totality and helps me improve on the way moving forward. So thank you once again to everybody that watched. I'll see you on the next one.